Girlfriend. It's your girl Melissa, and we are back with another episode of Hey Girlfriend podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, welcome back to the next episode of the Hey Girlfriend vlog. All right, so I'm gonna be a little transparent. I'm tired. I'm tired, but I am so determined to get this out. There has been a lot of hustle and bustle, and I am really not about this whole, hustle till you die type, culture. I'll put an end to that. But I don't know if you have noticed that we are in a great time of momentum. And I have been finding that the moment I put my hand to something, there is such an acceleration. So I have been going with it, because I understand the time and the season in which I'm in right now. Now, don't, this is not to say that I'm not resting. Your girl is resting. She is resting. But there were just a lot of things going on in work wise. And as you know, for myself, I'm an entrepreneur and I have different projects and things that I have been reviving and some new things that I've kind of been diving into. But she's a mother too. Homegirl's a mom too. And I found myself at the school, just a lot of extra school stuff that I had to do because I have to show up for my kids, of course. So normally I like to have the podcast or the vlog already recorded as of Sunday. But just with timing, we just really didn't get a chance to do so. But these are one of the things where I'm just like, hey, this is something that is on the schedule and I do have to get this done. And I am flexible. I'm flexible with myself and I grant myself grace. But this was something I said, oh, I got to get this done. So I really want to talk about within this episode, just, getting to preparations when it comes to coming into the new year. Normally we like to go in and we start our New Year's. You have people who do New Year's resolutions, and it's like, I'm getting out of debt, I'm losing weight, I'm getting rid of people, things, and so on that don't serve me. And then you have other people who are like, oh, I'm gonna do this Daniel fast, which isn't a fast because it was his way of living, but that's like a whole other thing. I'm not even gonna get into that. But I wanted to do something a little bit more, something a little bit deeper than a resolution, because we all know resolutions normally last about 3 weeks, and then people kind of like just fall off and try and pick back up somewhere in March. But I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I wanted to talk about what it is to have a vision for your life. Now, as you know, I do business coaching and consulting, and that is something that's really big when it comes to building the culture of your business. First things first, where are you going? What are you trying to achieve? And how are you going to get there? And that really is pretty much a vision mission statement. And we don't always put those things in our lives. We don't do it on a personal perspective. Like, we may do it in a business sense, but not personally. And the thing is this, if you don't have a vision for your life, if you are not looking forward to see, in a place that you're headed, then you may end up somewhere that you don't want to be. So it is very important that we define where we want our life to go. We should not be walking around in circles. We should not be walking around in the dark. And that's what happens when we do not have a defined vision for our life. And a defined vision could very much look like a declaration, like where we are declaring we will be. It comes in the form of goals. It comes in the form of like purpose. It could come in different forms. And that's what I really want to talk about, because I feel if I were, okay, let's just try it right now. Let's say you're sitting here right in my living room with me. And I ask you, so what is the vision for your life? How many of you have the answer? How many of you can literally tell me what the vision for your life is, and then share with me the mission? Because the thing about a mission gives legs to the vision. In other words, that's what it makes us walk towards achieving that vision. So vision and mission work hand in hand. Vision is where I see myself, and mission is how I'm going to get there. And if I were to ask you that right now, how many of you would have that answer? Or how many would say, I really don't know? And I actually found myself in that position. I found myself in that position because my family, we underwent a change. I got divorced. It was a 2.5 year battle. That was when I kind of put everything aside because it was really time for me to focus. I needed to take time to kind of just heal, focus on my family, focus on my education, focus on, just reorganizing, reinventing my life because I was a different person. Um, so I found myself in a position like, what is the vision now? Because it's not the same. There is a person not involved now. So what is my vision now? And I wrote down just a couple points that I do want to share with you. Now, listen, I tried to keep this short. Y'all know how I do. I was like, we just going to do like 3 or 4 points, 4 points max. But then once I got right in, and I can't do things halfway, and I can't leave y'all hanging. I'm very big, like, don't open up no can of worms and don't walk me through it. Don't do that to me. We're going to open up this can of worms and I'm going to walk you through this thing. So I actually have 7 points, but I promise that I'm not going to be long winded about it because I really want you to get through, and I want this to be your points to ponder as you're listening, or even when you're finished listening to the podcast. I just want to leave something with you that you can focus on over this next week until the next episode comes out next week. So again, we are talking about vision, and we said that the vision is a declaration of where you want to go. It comes, as I said, in the form of goals. What is it that you want to achieve? Who is it that you want to be in your future? We joke around and say, oh, I want to be like so-and-so when I grow up. But like, for real, who you trying to be when you grow up? When you go through what it is that you're going through, because we hear that a lot, grow through what you're going through. But who do you plan to be when you do that? When we come out of this, we should have not just the vision, but we should also have formed our strategy. And from that strategy, which is our mission, we should have execution, which means we are going to put foot to the pavement to make these things happen. And once we actually put foot to the pavement, in other words, we enter into execution, we should be closer to that vision. We should be closer to who we are looking forward to being, okay? So the first point I want to go to that we really have to deal with before even getting to our vision statement, if you're watching me on the vlog, you see I'm using my hands, but I just feel like the quote unquote, if you're listening to the podcast and I'm sitting here doing it, I'm like, oh wait, some of y'all can't see me. So I just want to say, number one, first things first, do you have wounds? Like, let's get to the nitty gritty, because I'm telling you right now, if you are in a state of brokenness, which is okay, because we do have to break to heal. We have to break to be mended. Those things have to happen in life, right? It's the shaking that we go through that we don't really want to go through, but it brings us back to deal with things that we have just kind of tucked below. So my thing is, have you healed from wounds? We know that we have all suffered like lots of trauma, and mental health is a big thing because we have pushed it under the rug. Another big thing that we're talking about is family trauma, what we grew up in. Not all of our parents were healed individuals, and they raised us in their brokenness. And some did an okay job, some did a great job, and some did not do so well. And that's okay, because we're granting them grace. But my thing is, have you healed from wounds from your lifetime, whether it be from childhood or from adulthood, whatever it is? Have you healed from those wounds? Because the thing is this, if you have not healed, you will not be able to see a clear vision for your life from the healed version of you. Because I'm telling you right now, the broken version of you sees different. The broken version of you sees different than the healed version of you. When you are in your healing process, you're coming from a place of wholeness, right? So you will see clearer. You'll hear clearly. You'll be able to get downloads for strategy. You'll become more creative. You'll want to do more. But if you are operating out of brokenness, that right there is the first thing that we have to deal with before even creating a vision for our lives. Because if we create a vision for our lives within our brokenness, we are going to walk in that same circle. We're going to find ourselves being in the same situations because we have not healed those portions of ourselves, and we're going to keep attracting the same thing. So number one, first things first, to creating a vision for your life. Have you dealt with your issues? Have you dealt with your wounds? Are you on your healing journey? Are you going back and revisiting the ugly that has happened in your life? Okay, that's number one. Number two, you have to envision what you want your life to look like. And that's why I said you have to be healed first, because you cannot see clearly from brokenness. So number two is envision. Envision. What do you want your life to look like? Now, we're not talking about, because we'll do vision boards and we do these declarations and we're just like, oh, I want a car, I want a new house, no. Those are things that happen, or things that you get because you've done the work within the vision. Okay, those are the gifts that come with doing the work of the vision. Okay, we are talking about envisioning something for yourself, and when you do that for yourself, you are going to have to kind of come back into your gifts and your talents and so on, which that's another point, so I don't want to go ahead. What is your end goal from the healed version of you? What does it look like? What does your dreams look like? Okay, because again, that's going to be different. It's going to be different when you're coming from a healed place. Number three, I have re-explore. There are things you're going to have to revisit. You're going to have to revisit old passions. Do they do it for you anymore? You're going to have to revisit. I'm not talking about people when I said old passions either. Okay? I was going to put that out there because I want y'all to be like, well, she told me no. I didn't say go back to old people that maybe striked up some kind of passion. I'm talking about doing things within your gifts and your talents that make you have a full passion for life again. All right. So what are your gifts? What are your talents? Because we all have God-given gifts. Okay. We have some that absolutely have gone unexplored. What gives you life? Okay. Some of us, we wake up in the morning, we don't even want to go to work. We be like, oh God, I gotta go to this place. And I'm telling you, I'm that mom that tells their kid, and I've been telling them, listen, in your career, you should never be getting out the bed like, oh my God, I don't want to go to this place, because then you are in the wrong field. Okay. I was like, so what makes you passionate? You got to get back to what fuels passion within your life. One example I want to give real quick is actually this podcast, and I shared it through our mass email today. Actually, this was not something that I really thought I was going to pick back up, and these steps I'm sharing with you because I had to do this myself. This was not something that I was actually going to be picking back up, and I just happened to. I had got a notification from one of the sites that I use that kind of spreads the podcast through all the different stations and so on. And it had showed that I had over 1,000 listens within like the past week or so. And I was just like, wait a minute. I haven't even recorded a podcast since 2020. So it sparked back in me that thing that I kind of just stuck on the shelf and said, okay, we're done with this. It had me bring it back. So this is why I'm like, you got to re-explore some things. You're gonna have to go back. You're gonna have to go back see what you put on the shelf. See what you buried. See what you put in the closet. Like wherever you hid that thing, you gotta go back to it and see if it brings life back to you, brings back that passion. Number four I have is don't limit yourself. We have to dream big. This is our opportunity right now. This, when you're writing out this vision for your life, it is your opportunity to dream big. That means you're getting out of comfort zones. Okay, if you write the vision down and you like, yeah, this is good, it's all right, it don't spark not a little bit of nervousness, not a little bit like, oh, I'm a little scared about this, but it's laced with like excitement, then you have not dreamed big enough. Do not, don't shortchange yourself by shortchanging the vision, because that's what happens when we shortchange ourselves. It's because we have shortchanged the vision. The vision is gonna be big. It should be big. It should be something that you haven't done. And listen, that's hard for me because I like the known. I like territories that I already know. Okay, when you call me to start doing stuff that's in the unknown, and maybe that I don't feel like I've done. So I don't really know if I'm good at that. I don't like that stuff. I don't like that stuff. I like to be in control. I like to know, like, listen, I like to be in the know. So when you call me to, come out the boat and embark on something new, I'm just like, I don't know if I really have time for that, right? But that's because I'm pushing it away, not because of a time, but because I'm like, oh, that makes me feel uncomfortable. And we don't like feel. I'm sitting here recording in a sweatsuit on my couch. I almost had a blanket. Okay, I was like, I like comfort. We all like comfort, but I'm telling you right now, the vision, it needs to be big and it needs to be uncomfortable. Okay, so number four is don't limit yourself. You need to do this scared. Do it scared. We've heard that before. We've heard that saying before. Do it scared. Number five, because I got to get through this. I'm sorry I had seven, but I'm not going to do a part two to this episode. We're going to get it all up in this one. Number five is write a mission statement. And as I talked earlier, your mission statement, it's the legs to the vision. So once you have a vision, once you have something, a big dream, something that scares you, something that makes you uncomfortable, you need to write down at least 3 to 5 tangible, 3 to 5 steps that will get you closer to that thing, whatever it is. That is now your mission. Okay, so you have the vision, which is the big dream, the uncomfortable dream, something that you're walking into, it's unknown territory. And then the mission is at least 3 to 5 steps that's going to take you in that direction and get you closer to achieving that vision. Okay? I'm gonna move on real quick because we only got two more to go, and these, I'm gonna try not to spend too much time on this. But they are necessary. That's why I was like, I got to at least be 7. They got to be 7. 6 and 7. 6 is accountability. 7 is flexibility. Number 6, accountability. You need to be held accountable, because if you are not, you're not gonna do it. You need, we are big on community. Now, I'm not saying your community got to be big. You may only need one person. I know for me, I don't have a lot of people around me. And that's just because that's the season that I'm in. And I can't share all my dreams and my visions with other people because they can't understand it. And I just had to make the decision that you can't be in my inner circle if you don't see the me already operating in the vision, because that's how I have to look at myself. I can't look at myself through my eyesight of who I am today. I am looking at myself as this is who you're going to be when this is all said and done. All right. So you need an accountability person. You need an accountability person. So when we, I'm so sorry if you hear that in the background, with my dog, because I am in my living room. I was like, good. But listen, we had to do what we had to do to get this thing done. So you need that person that's going to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do, because as we're even going through our healing journey and just in life, like if you look right now, nothing really seems possible. I mean, there are sicknesses galore. People are sick. People are in the hospital. People losing jobs. Banks are shutting down. Businesses are closing down. There is so much stuff going on in this world. So yeah, no, you don't. You're not really gonna feel sometimes. Maybe even getting out of bed. But when you have that person who holds you accountable to what it is, that means that they care for you, they care for where you're going, and they see it. Because, like I said, not everybody's gonna see it. You need that person. You need that individual in your life. So I understand all about shutting yourself down and having to separate yourself from certain things that you used to do, or even certain people, just because they're not going to journey with you on this season. But you do need accountability. I promise you, you need accountability. Even if it's one individual, you need that individual to be there with you and making sure that you are sticking to your mission. And it's not a thing where they nag you like, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? It's just subtle mentions. I mentioned to a friend today, I'm like, hey, did you do this, that, the other on your website? I know she didn't. Why? Because she was at work all day. I know she didn't, but I put the buzz in her ear. Like, in other words, go ahead and have dinner, go ahead and rest, go fix up that website of yours. Okay? I was like, because she has a plan. She has a plan. She has a vision. And just like she keep me accountable, I got to keep her accountable. All right. So number 7, the last one is be flexible and grant yourself some grace. Like, listen, like I said, I wanted this podcast recorded yesterday, but we have so much going on. You know, we have a play coming up this weekend. We're supporting another organization, a nonprofit organization. My kids are involved in so much stuff. There's school. They're having all their Christmas programs. Like, there is so much going on, right? So I have to grant myself some grace. So when I saw last night, the clock was just ticking. I said, okay, I have it scheduled. This is the time that I do it, and that's not working. I'm going to grant myself some grace. I'm going to get to it tomorrow. Now, my plans were to get to it Monday morning, which didn't happen because I was over there doing the Santa shop at my daughter's school, which I would much rather be doing that than recording a podcast. Not that I don't love y'all, I do. But mama work comes first. Mama work always comes first. So grant yourself some grace and be flexible. Just because you put something off a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, it does not mean that you're not going to reach your goal. You're going to get there. So when we do plan for this, we kind of do. We have our plan, our plan for our life, and we don't want to hold on to it so tight. Now, I'm not saying write the plan or write the vision and get the actionable steps, but now you don't do anything until 5 years. No, because that's where accountability comes in. I'm saying if you have to push things off for a little bit, if you're sick and in the bed, you're trying to recover, push the thing off a couple days until you're your full self. All right, so grant yourself some grace. Be flexible with what it is that you're putting. I put a lot on myself, and I'm a stickler about things when it comes to myself, because once the ball gets rolling, I don't want to stop. So even like today, I spent my day, because I knew I was taking like breaks throughout the day to, tend to the school activities and so on. But I had my behind at my desk all day. I ate there, and there's one office that I consult for, and I like when I go in there because there's this one coworker there who she is very big. Like, lunchtime is lunchtime for her. She don't play. She walks away from her desk. She makes sure she has a meeting. She's like, do not contact me during this time. And I learned that from her because I will sit at my desk. I will eat. I will do everything. I won't move. I will not move. So today I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do what I have to do, and I'm stepping away from the desk, because if I don't step away from that desk, I'm not going to get anything else done. And, in that flexibility, I need to be flexible with my rest. I need to rest. I need to rest so I can come back at things refreshed. All right. So I hope you got something that you're able to just kind of, out of these points to ponder, that you're able to ponder on over this week. Next week, as I said, we're going to kind of be going through just things to prepare ourselves as we're coming into a new year, a new season. I hope that you find yourself encouraged. And if not, and if you find yourself to even be confused, whatever it is, go to my website, check me out. I do, I got consulting and coaching. I offer all kinds of things. And I think, and you can always, our first discovery is always free. You can get to know me better. I get to know you. I get to know what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and I help you with that, okay? So go to my website. It's www.melissabaez. That's Baez And you'll find everything there. It's like the one-stop shop, from the podcast to bookings to my consulting and coaching services. You can find all my other projects between the Love Me More organization, which is our women's empowerment organization. I also have the Woe Is Me, which is which for women who are in business, women entrepreneurs. That is our mastermind group. We are starting up again in 2023. So take a look at that. And hey, if you're in the Jersey, Philadelphia, Delaware area, we have events coming up with Love Me More. So if you go to that website and you scroll down to the bottom, you will see all the different logos. Click on there and see what we have going on. I promise we have something for you. So if you enjoyed this, even if you didn't enjoy it, I like to hear from you. I like to hear the comments. So whether you're emailing me or you're responding to the podcast, please do so. You can email me at melissahgp@gmail.com. You can also contact me through my website, again, which is www.melissabaez.com. I want to hear from you. Maybe you have some tips for me. Maybe you have some tips that I can share with our audience. Whatever it is that you have, share, because this should be open. This should be open communication within our girlfriend community. So I hope you grab something from this, and I hope that you have these points to ponder this week, and that you put action behind it. All right, put action behind it, and do me a favor. When you're done listening to this, can you share it with 3 more girlfriends and bless them? I would really appreciate it, because that would bless me. So get on out there, rock your week in purpose and on purpose. I'll see you next